All right, I think we're live here. What's up, pimps? Y'all, leave. This is my first live stream I've ever done, so leave me a comment and tell me if you can see me, you can hear me, all that good shit, and we'll get started in just a second. Uh, this might be a complete fold, to be honest. I did a poll like a week ago on my channel, and I just asked. I was like, "Does anybody have any questions they want me to answer on a Q&A?" And I got like I think I got like 20 people who said they had a question, so I figured I'd do a Q&A. This might be the shortest Q&A in history, but honestly, I was thinking about making a video today, and I just didn't really like. I just didn't really feel like doing it, to be honest. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'll do the Q&A tonight." And leave me a post or a reply or whatever, and tell me if you can hear me and see me and all that good shit. Make sure this shit's working because I ain't never done it before. Uh, how long is it, do you think? What do you do? You're all clear? Okay, cool. Appreciate it. All right, so this will probably take honestly, I've got have you ever visited Indonesia? Yeah, so here's what we're gonna do, guys. I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna give you guys a quick update on what I'm doing with my channel, and you guys can give me some feedback on what you think of some ideas I'm doing. And we're gonna do that while I wait on everybody to get in here who might show up late. And honestly, you guys can ask me kind of whatever you want. You can ask me about like your situation if you want any help. You can ask me about shit about me or just random questions. As long as it's not something I don't want about me on the internet, I'll answer it. And I'm really in no rush. So I should be able to get to everybody's questions. I doubt I'm going to get bombarded by questions here. So just briefly though, I wanted to give you guys, like I said, an update. So for those of you who watch my stuff pretty regularly, I haven't been posting as much lately, and that's mainly because I just started a new job. I've kind of been pivoting away from doing YouTube. I'd wanted to do a YouTube channel for a while, and it'd been like 2 years literally. And then it was just kind of like a good time. And I was like, fuck it, I'll do a YouTube channel right now. And that was like February of 2020. So I went ahead and did it, started uploading. I'm like, I'm going to upload a video every day. And it started working out okay, I guess. I had a job simultaneously with that. And I just started it in real estate, and we had to shut that down for the pandemic. So I was reading The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday actually at that point. And I was like, fuck it, let's turn lemons into lemonade. So I doubled down on the YouTube channel, got some results with that. And that's kind of how that started picking up speed. Then I started back at that real estate job after the pandemic shit had kind of like cooled down and everyone figured out it was kind of overhyped. You know what I'm saying? And but then the business just kind of fell apart for the guy I was working with. So that again, it didn't work out. So then I was kind of stuck with the YouTube thing, and I like really wasn't planning to turn it into this full-time business quite yet. But I was like, again, this is what I'm stuck with. So I went to the coaching model, started launching programs, and I paid the bills with it. I managed to pay the bills, but I wasn't growing. So now what I've done is I've started a new job in sales, and hopefully that's going to go well. It's going to allow me to grow and expand in a lot of areas, and I've really gotten closer to a center, and I want to get back to making videos for the joy of making the videos, not just putting something out because I feel like I got to put something out. I'm still gonna be talking about the same stuff, but my whole mindset on this is I want to be maybe in a way kind of like some of you might see me as a big brother. Some of you might just see me as like giving some advice that you might think's worth a damn or whatever, but just somebody you can watch grow along with you. And hopefully with that, you can be inspired and we can both just develop as men together, because that's what we're all doing. None of us are perfect. We're trying to improve ourselves. And some of the ideas, and you guys leave a comment, let me know what you think of this. Some of the ideas I'm thinking about launching later this year after I've moved into a new place and I've got more space and stuff is doing a long form show. I've already got a co-host lined up for that, a friend of mine who's interested in it. He'll be talking about like men's issues, like developing as men, things like that, and just conversational type stuff, as well as perhaps even doing like some weekly vlogs and things like that. So you guys can let me know what you think of that. But I'm looking forward to doing it and looking forward to getting back to really just making stuff that I feel like can help you guys the most and speaking more to my truth and not feeling like I'm trying to run this whole massive business, getting clear on the things that matter to me, which, is like building my future financially, having a great life, and, growing as a man in all areas. So that's what I'm focused on right now. Let me check this chat again here. Are you ladies? What are your revenue streams? Is it frozen? Your audio's laggy. Is my audio still laggy? I don't even have, honestly, the only mic I've got goes for my phone. So I just got the dongle. So I'm talking through the computer mic or whatever. Sounds like procrastinating is a feminine thing. All right. Well, I'm finished with everything. So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, we're going to get into the questions now. I should be able to answer just about everything. Don't ask me your question twice in here, though, so I can make sure I keep track of everything. So I'm going to start at the top. Um, let's see. Let's see. Fran Yesty. What do you say to a 20-year-old that's going bald? Well, here's what my situation is. I'm 23 and my shit, I actually have something in it. So it doesn't really look that bad right now, but I'm actually going to probably put a video up here in a few days. I'm going to shave my head. I'm not going completely bald. I'm going to just buzz it really short. I was reading about that. Someone actually on the channel recommended I do that, and I looked into it. Sounds like a good idea. So what I'd recommend for you is embrace it. To be honest, I started losing my hair at 16. It was kind of slow. I don't know what the situation is for you, but I would really try to embrace it. You know, that's part of being a man. You can flip it in your head actually and start talking about it as, rather than seeing it as a bad thing, you can say, hey, this just means I've got high testosterone, because DHT, which is a byproduct of testosterone, is actually what causes hair loss. So anybody starts bagging on you about it, just be like, yeah, I'm more of a man than you. I've got more testosterone. You can flip it that way. But I really just try to embrace it. Don't try to hide it. The more you mask it, when I was about, like I said, 16, 18 years old, my hair was going out. I would like project it out. I would like make it this thing, like make jokes about myself for it to try and deflect my insecurity about it. And that just doesn't work. Try to get clear with it. It's just a part of life. It's a really great opportunity for you to accept the things you can't change in life. Have I ever visited Indonesia? Eji Nungwara said, no, I have not visited Indonesia. Richie asked, are you religious? Yeah, like, I don't want to sound all like I'm spiritual or whatever, but honestly, kind of. I think organized religion takes the like God out of it a little too much. I am like a Christian, I guess, but I don't go to church or anything. But I do believe in like the spirit and God and all that, and I do pray and all that. What are your different revenue streams? So like I said, I just started a new job in sales. That's not producing income quite yet. I start that on the 15th. And then I got my YouTube, and I had the coaching program that I recently shut down that, like I said, it was paying the bills. I've got some investments that pay like passive income dividends, but it's nothing huge yet. Let's see what else we got here. Nobody's Perfect Six says, quote, it's a man's role to be interesting. It's a woman's role to be interested. That was a powerful quote I stumbled upon. Yeah, that's good. Guys need to, one thing I would say about that though is I found personally with girls is they love to talk. So if you can be interested and be a good listener and be present with them with that, they'll really fuck with it. But I understand what you're saying. Like, you want to be interesting as a man because that's what's attractive, like doing cool shit, right? Let's see. Fran said you'll grow with time. I'm sure about that. Yeah, for sure, man. That's what we're all trying to do. Navneet Makrela. I guess I honestly probably fucking y'all's names up, to be honest. What are your experiences with psychedelics in the context of self-help? I've done acid 3 times. I think it was 3 times, and it's good. It's good stuff. Every time I've gotten out of it, it's been like a real revelation. I do want to try ayahuasca and all that, but really for me, it's like it's kind of like it downloads in my head over the next few months. Like, I remember the first time I did, I was like literally driving along and something really hit me, like really moved me. And I remember thinking like that acid trip was really important. And it had been like months since I'd done it. And so, yeah, psychedelics are pretty clutch for that. Obviously, I'd be careful. I honestly like doing them on my own. If you're trying to like self-discover and things like that, I would do it on your own. That's what I did. Edgy said, WDYT about people. Oh, what do you think about people who always procrastinate doing their things? I think this is going to screw them. I think a lot of people, I mean, I definitely procrastinate as well. Procrastination, I've come to think, honestly, in myself at least, it seems like it's a low confidence issue. It seems like you're not confident you're going to get a result, or maybe even if you looked at it deeply, the thing you're procrastinating on, perhaps you're not even like you're kind of afraid you're going to fail. I noticed that with some stuff for me. It's like maybe I'll get apathetic about something because I'm afraid I'm going to fail at it. You see what I'm saying? And then I just don't take action rather than risk my ego. Another thing that people procrastinate over is if it's not in alignment with where they're trying to go in life. If you don't see that correlation in your head between the action you're taking and where you're trying to get, then it's hard to take the actions, especially if you don't want to. Jay True, what are your thoughts on meditation? I meditate every day. I've changed it up a little bit. I used to do it all the visualization kind of meditations. Now I'm really just about trying to get present and clear. I've really been focusing more on just my daily actions being direction based rather than like I'm going to sit here and visualize and try to make something happen. I've kind of laid off that a little bit more of recently, but just you want to start your day by getting present. It's really important because otherwise your mind will just go all over the place. Nobody's perfect. Hang on, let me move around here. Rodrigo said, could you please recommend us your top 5 inspirational books? Top 5 books. I'd say probably, well, for inspirational purposes, I really liked Matthew McConaughey's memoir. I just read Green Lights. That was fantastic. I think that's really good for any man who's trying to like learn how to actually grow as a man and develop. I thought that was awesome. What were some other ones that it's inspirational? If you mean, I don't honestly read a ton of books that inspire me necessarily. I try to read for information, but some books I guess you could say inspired me to take actions based on information I heard. Letting Go by David Hawkins. What are some other ones? Oh, Steve Jobs' book, Jobs by Walter Isaacson. That was really good. That inspired me, gave me a lot of great ideas. What are some other ones I've been reading lately? I got my phone right here. I'll give you some ideas. I recently reading this book. It's kind of like famous in the like men's community. It's called The Book of Pook. If any of you have heard of it, it's kind of interesting. It's like a book on, I guess, becoming an attractive guy or whatever. That was kind of interesting. Let's see what else I got on here. Oh, Engineering the Alpha. That's a pretty inspiring book. That show gets you hyped up to work out and stuff. That's where I started learning to diet from. Those are a few of them. I'm not sure if that was 5 that I just mentioned, but yeah, that'll do. Mark Tyler again. He said, "How do you stick to a consistent sleep schedule?" You got to get your sleeping's based on your circadian rhythm. Your body runs on a clock and a timer, and your hormones actually work that way. When the sun goes down, you start emitting melatonin, and melatonin makes you want to go to sleep. So what you got to do is really, it just takes time. Circadian rhythm. That's how your body works. It wants to act like a clock. It wants to wake up at a certain time and go to sleep at a certain time. So you just kind of got to be disciplined at first, and it'll start to become natural. If you're struggling with it, I'd say put your phone on the other side of the room before you go to bed. And if that's not working as well, put it up like an hour beforehand because the light from the screens can fuck all that up. Let's see what we got here. Nobody's Perfect. 6 said, No More Mr. Nice Guy is a powerful book. Yeah, that is a good book. I was using that recently. This is something we could talk about right now, actually, that I think is important. I haven't gotten a question on it, but dealing with, as a man, as men, we're kind of raised to not be comfortable with our sexuality. Like, we're told it's almost bad to be like attractive. Like, have you ever noticed in yourself how maybe you see an attractive girl and it's like you don't even want to feel it? Like you don't let that energy build in you because you feel like there's something wrong with it. He talks about in that book shame around sexuality, and this is why a lot of guys actually get addicted to porn and things like that. It's because they can't be present with their own sexuality. So if you find yourself in that situation, sit with your sexuality and learn to get comfortable with it. Let go of the shame, and you let go of the shame by just accepting it and realizing, hey, this is nothing to be ashamed of. Do you track your habits? Colorado Manning. What do you mean by track them? I mean, it's a habit, so it just kind of is something you do, I guess. I don't have like if you mean like scheduling, I do schedule, but I don't write down like bullet point each habit that I do or anything. I just kind of write down the things I need to get done that day. Fran, again, thanks, bro. That's helpful. I'm constantly in a dilemma if fighting it or not, but I'm never at peace with taking the medicines that stop it. I actually shaved my head 2 days ago. Awesome, dude. Awesome. Yeah, we'll be in the same boat. Like I said, I'm probably going to put that up on the channel. I'll probably put up a video of me shaving my head, and we'll talk about that or whatever. ATR. I was between 14, 21, A grade student, but my mind wasn't in it and got C grades, got a job, paid well, but my illness got worse. So I quit, and you and I suffered too. Uh, Sometimes I think back and was me being ill an excuse for mediocre grades? I don't know. That you'd have to answer that for yourself. Like we make excuses for stuff. I mean, you probably could have gotten good grades anyways if you think about it, but I'm not you, and honestly, I didn't get great grades either. I did not take school very seriously, so I can't even hate on that. Uh, Fran said, "How should a man deal with anxiety?" By not avoiding it. We always want to avoid our anxiety. Just be present with it. It's okay. Stop thinking whatever's making you anxious. Okay, there's two. Let me think about this again. There's two reasons you're anxious. One, maybe some traumatic thing from your past, or you're afraid of something in the future. So with the traumatic stuff in the past, just let it process. If you're anxious about something, just sit there with it, and you'll understand that, like, don't focus on the thoughts, focus on how you feel when you're experiencing this, and you'll find that it'll go away. And accept it. Don't be mad at it. Don't try to fight it, all these things. Now if it's something in the future, there's two kinds of things in that situation: things you can control, things you can't control. If you're anxious about the future because you have absolutely no plan, well, duh, you're going to be anxious. Don't be surprised about that. If you're anxious because of, I don't know, the crazy political climate, and there's nothing you can do about that, you just kind of got to surrender that as well and understand. I think meditating on your own death is really helpful for this. In fact, let me show you all a picture. I actually started looking at this every now, and I start looking at it every now and then when I feel like I'm starting to take things too seriously. This is a picture from an app I took, where you can make yourself look old. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. So that's supposed to be me at, like, I don't know, 70. So I think about that and think I want to, and just understand, like, there's going to be a day I'm not even going to be able to lift weights. There's going to be a day my dick's not going to work, all this stuff. And hey, that is what it is. Right. And I meditate on that and realize, like, you know what? We're all going to die. Don't be so attached to shit. You know what I'm saying? Avatar Ang, any experience with lucid dreams, astral projection? No, I have. Well, lucid dreaming, like, slightly, um, but I've had a dream within a dream, like an Inception type of deal. I've never been like I'm not capable of just on demand lucid dreaming, but I have at, like, points in my life lucid dreamed. Max Hernandez, Mark Tyler, pick a schedule and stick to it. You have to learn how to say no to people a lot. That's good advice. Yeah, especially for the sleep schedule, because if people want to drag you out all night and all this stuff, then yeah, you're probably not going to get on a good schedule. Let's see what we got here. Nobody's perfect. Are you familiar with the book titled The Rational Male? Yeah, I've been reading that again, as well as No More Mr. Nice Guy lately. That's a good book. One thing I do think he is about that, all of his info is, like, correct. I just think it's a little reductionist. And I think sometimes he seems kind of angry at women. Oh, like, women aren't perfect, just like men aren't perfect, obviously. But sometimes he sounds a little upset at women. Rollo Tomasi, the author, that is. But generally, I do think most of what he says is good. He's also an evolutionary biologist, so he comes at it from a very secular point of view, and he doesn't give much credit to the idea that humans have spirits and all these different things. Like, we have a soul. He's more strictly like the biology, and there's a lot of truth to that. But I do think that it's a little more nuanced than he gives it credit. But certainly, I think The Rational Male is kind of like required reading for men at this point. Mark Tyler, should you take cold showers at night? I heard that does help with sleep issues. Actually, I don't really struggle to fall asleep. I'm on a pretty good schedule, so I've never done it to fall asleep, but I have heard that's actually a thing. Richie, how do you deal with insecurities? Well, like I said, like, the hair is a good example of that. Is like, I'm just going to shave it. I'm going to own it. I think if you, especially as a man, we're very fortunate. Like, our society wants us to think that we're supposed to be these beauty objects or whatever. We're not. We're men. We're kind of ugly, to be honest. We're hairy. We shit and, like, fart in front of each other and talk shit. All this crazy stuff. We're not attractive. Let's be totally honest. We are valued for different things. So when it comes to your insecurities, if they're physical, at some point you can't control it. If you can't control it, like you're out of shape or something, do something about it. If it's something you can't deal with, just own it, right? Like Jason Statham, he's got a hot wife, right? Or girlfriend, it looks like, whatever it is. That dude's balling, but he's balding. Doesn't stop him, right? We're not women. We don't have to be beautiful. In fact, we're not going to be beautiful, honestly. So when it comes to your insecurities, can you control it? If you can control it, change it. If you can't control it, accept it. That's really what it is. And it sounds super simple, but I mean, that's really all there is to it. There's you just kind of got to accept it. I had to accept the hair and stop making it a big deal. Other things I've been insecure about. I used to feel insecure about talking to girls because, maybe the vehicle I was driving or my spot wasn't good enough or, my hair, right? Things like that. I had always these insecurities, but honestly, they're just in your head. Everybody's kind of got shit going on. It's really not that big a deal. Darren Gauze, do you have any tips about becoming more consistent with things like running and working out? Um, well, with consistency for it, I'd say try and find something you enjoy doing for it first and foremost. Um, Try and get quick wins. Quick wins is good for consistency. This is when I did fitness coaching for a little while, and I would have everybody, the first call we did, like once they signed up, I'd be like, all right, we want to get you 3 wins really quick. And it'd just be 3 things they could change really quick that would get them like sort of noticeable results. And it could get the positive momentum going. You build positive momentum will continue to accrue. Um, Beyond that, it's about building the habit. Like I have a habit of working out. I mention this a lot, but it's literally harder for me to not go to the gym and take a rest day than it is for me to go to the gym because I've gotten to the point where this is just who I am. So that's kind of what you want to do. You want to get to the point where it's just who I am. A good analogy for this or whatever. Last thing that I built a legitimate habit of doing, well, honestly, two YouTube videos, making the videos regularly, and meditating. Both of those things I felt kind of like it was like, why are you doing this? I was meditating and I wasn't really meditating. I was just sitting there, but I was building the habit and I got better at it. Same with the YouTube was like sometimes when I very first started, I didn't want to make a video, but I made a video anyways. And now these are just parts of my identity. You want to make it a part of your identity to be the healthy guy. Fernando, easy for me to get to about 30 days on no fat, but how to do it actually forever? Um, Find a girl. That would be the easiest thing, to be honest. Like you shouldn't. I mean, I'm not one of these guys, honestly, on this. I for a while I was kind of on this wave, to be honest. But the more I've thought about it, like we're men, we're not supposed to go forever without ejaculating, right? Like we're not gods. You know what I'm saying? We're human beings. We're animals. So if you're trying to go forever on this stuff, you're gonna have an issue. You want to get a girl or girlfriend, spin plates, as the rational male says, whatever it is, you need to find yourself a real woman. And if you can't, then start putting in the work to figure out where you need to step your game up so you can. Avatar Ang, same here. It's hard to do no fat for more than a month, especially when you don't see benefits people talk about. Well, this is one thing I really don't like about no fap is they overhype it a little bit. Like I think it's great. I think men should do it, but some of these guys who make videos on this shit, you think you're going to be like walking on water because you held your nut in or whatever. It's really more about becoming the man that you already were. Like when I was 19 years old, I drank constantly. And I've got like pictures on my phone and stuff where I wasn't like fat, but I was the fattest I'd ever been. I was the most out of shape. My health was not that great at that point. And I stopped doing it. My health fixed itself. My gut stopped sticking out like crazy. And did I get magic powers? No, I just went back to being who I was. And that's what NoFap's about too. You're going back to being who you are as a man. You've got this sexual energy. Now, one thing I've been learning about, like I mentioned recently, is the shame that we associate with our sexuality, which can cause you to not be comfortable with your sexuality, even if you're on NoFap. Like maybe you're still struggling with these things. I actually think this was also tied in with, I've mentioned I had porn induced ED when I was like 18. Is as I also had beliefs around sex that made me feel like it was wrong, and I started to really work on those as well. Especially recently, I started thinking about that. So if you're struggling, if you're not getting benefits and all these things, well, understand it's not like a 401k or some compound interest shit where you're just getting dividends all the time. You're going back to being the man you're supposed to be. And if you're still struggling with issues around your sexuality, try and see how you actually feel about sex. Do you feel ashamed? Are you totally comfortable with it? Do you embrace it? Are you excited for it? Do you find ways to avoid it? All these kinds of things. Understand that and then start working through those issues you might have. Franklin said, what's your take on fasting and do you do it yourself? Haven't heard you talk about it before. I actually had some people giving me shit for talking about it too much when I first started my channel. And I also, like I said, did fitness coaching and I posted on Instagram about that. I always talk about intermittent fasting. I'm not really actively practicing it that much lately, but I was planning to get back on it. I do it when I'm trying to get in like really good shape. during the like off season when it's not summer, I don't really do it much, but it is a really cool thing to do. It's good. Fran said, "What time do you wake up at?" Anywhere from about 6:30 to 7:30, anywhere in that ballpark. Just depends on what I need to get done. That's my optimal time to get up, though. Joaquin said, "What do you eat on your cheat day?" Well, honestly, I just started back on my like diet. I'd been pretty much having a cheat day for like 6 months, honestly, because I was trying to break through some plateaus at the gym. So I was eating whatever the hell I wanted. On your cheat day, though, if you're training properly, now this is the thing. It depends on how you're training, how you're dieting. If you're doing like a classic, like the 40-40-20 split, where it's 40% protein, 40% carbs, 20% fat, I'd recommend a cheat meal, not a cheat day, because of the way it affects your hormones. If you're doing a high fat, low carb day, your insulin levels are going to be, are going to be, your insulin's going to be very sensitive. So you can eat a lot and it'll burn it really fast. So if you're doing like a high fat, low carb diet, maybe once, twice a month, you can do, yeah, probably about once every other week. I'd recommend you could do a cheat day and you'll actually see results from doing it. What do I eat on it? Whatever I want. If I'm doing it like that, like I literally, if you want really good diet advice, I would get the Unleashing the Alpha. No, sorry, not Unleashing the Alpha. That was my fucking workout program. Engineering the Alpha 2.0. That was the name of the book. That's a really good book. That was the first book I ever did for dieting, and I got awesome results out of that. But they talk about on there, for a cheat day, eat whatever you want, and you have to eat whatever you want. So it kind of depends on how you're dieting. If you're doing a high fat diet, have a big cheat day, and you can eat sugary shit, whatever you want to eat. Yusuf, I apologize if I'm fucking you guys' names up, to be honest, but he said, "Hey Keefe, I had a female best friend, which I had feelings for, and then we had this fight, and after 2 years, she literally stopped caring, and we stopped talking, and I'm like, never again. What do you think?" And she also said very hurtful words, and nobody ever had this effect on me before. What do you think? I think you got one-itis, and I think you should read the Rational Male book that what's his name was talking about earlier, for sure, because also, you can't play the friend game and try and get a girl to like you. Rollo Tomasi, he says in the book, he says you've either, a girl has two kinds of friends. She has girlfriends and a boyfriend. And if you're not fucking her, you're her girlfriend. So that's pretty much how that is, right? Like, you don't want, like, the whole idea that guys have, it's like, it's kind of a blue pill beta male kind of idea is, I'm going to be her friend first, then get her to like me. It doesn't work like that, because sexual attraction is different than friendship. So that's kind of a lesson learned there for you, to be honest. But just understand, I've gotten my heart broken pretty bad before in the past, and it feels like it's never going to end, but it'll end. The best thing you can do, stop talking to her, cut her out, just focus on your shit. And to be honest, maybe in 6 months you see her again. As long as it didn't end bad, she might be interested in you again. But I would focus on multiple girls, talking to new girls, dating casually, rather than focusing all your attention on this one girl, because it sounds like you focused on this girl for a hot minute only to get disappointed. So that's just a bad strategy. That's kind of like if you were trying to apply for jobs and you applied for one job. You know what I'm saying? And you just waited on them to call you back for a year. And then they're like, "Hey, we hired somebody 11 months ago. Sorry, we weren't interested in you." And you're mad at the job. Like, it's kind of is what it is on that. You should apply for a lot of jobs and you should date a lot of girls. You should talk to girls and find out who you are as a man and stop putting all your focus on a woman. But it's totally normal to do that. I think it almost feels like every guy has to go through that shitty situation. So congratulations, you've gotten it out of your system. Now step up. I'd read The Rational Male and focus on yourself. Fernando Cortez, by the way, I have a girlfriend and getting sex is not a problem. Have regular sex. The issue is I relapse on watching porn. Okay, I got you. Well, honestly, that's interesting. I would say probably just notice why. Well, you'd have to ask yourself kind of why you're doing it. Is it if it's compulsive, because sometimes it can be compulsive, you just kind of got to accept that the thought's there, and this is kind of just like stopping anything. You want to make it less of your identity. Maybe you've done it for so long that it feels like it's part of who you are, so it's something you go back to or something like that. So I would think about kind of why you're doing it, and then start like say the thought comes up in your head and you're like, I want to watch porn or something like that. Detach yourself from that. Don't take it so serious. Okay, here's that thought, and maybe the impulse is going to hit you in your body. Just allow it to be there without identifying with it. This is how I quit being addicted to nicotine. This is how I stopped porn. This is how I stopped smoking weed. I used to be a crazy stoner. I still, for the record, I do smoke on occasion, like once a year is what I'm saying. So I'm not saying you can't smoke, but you shouldn't be doing it all the time. But I was doing it all the time. But anyways, all of these things, what happened is the feeling would come up, and I literally just made the decision I'm not this guy anymore. So you want to make it so it's not part of who you are anymore. You're just like I was trying to have sex and my dick didn't work. I was like, all right, porn must have something to do with this. I'm not doing it anymore. Like I hit that moment. Smoking weed, I feel like affected my ability to start a business. I just said I'm not doing it anymore. Things like that. So make the decision, and if the feeling comes up, just let it go. You let it go by not being attached to it, not thinking about it. Just focus on something else. Honestly, beyond that, you'll have to just kind of get clear on your own circumstances. But that's what I did. Fran said, do you think it is necessary to track calories? Yes, if you want to get good results. You should do it based on macros, though. So your proteins, fats, and carbs. And then the calories will just be the number based on top of that. Avatar, what do you think about the absurd political correctness thing and how to fight it? You fight it by just speaking your truth and not caring. Honestly, I think most people are in agreement on this. We got these crazy people who don't want you to say anything that they don't but then I think most people really are kind of in a place where they're like we just all like we want to hear people speak. Like we're not that sensitive of people. I've been trying to avoid politics more because I realized the less you focus on politics, the less it affects you in your life. But political correctness, as a general rule, the best way to fight it is to just not comply with it as much as you possibly can. I'm not recommending you go get fired if you've got a job, but maybe you should put yourself in a position where you're not dependent on a company that is politically correct, things like that. That's pretty much what I would recommend for that. It sounds like if any of you watch Steven Crowder, he sounds like he's actually got a lawsuit up against Facebook he was talking about for their political correct bullshit. So we might have some traction going here. I think the pendulum is going to swing. People want to speak. People want to speak the truth, and people don't give a fuck. And we got this internet where you can say whatever the hell you want. Like, do you really think people are going to want that censored? Hell no. Like, I think this shit's going to swing back. It's going to backfire on all the PC people, to be honest. I think the Twitters of the world are going down. To be honest, I like YouTube, but we'll see what happens with them. They're actually not that bad about it. So, but yeah, that's my take on PC. Yusuf said again, okay, but do you know somewhere I can get the rational mail for free? Because I'm in Egypt and getting stuff like that is really difficult. Also, my name is spelled Yusuf. Okay, Yusuf, gotcha. If you were wondering, gotcha. My bad. I'm shitty with names, to be honest. You can get it on Amazon. Go get the. I just read everything on Kindle. And so you can literally buy it for like $4 on Amazon. Or honestly, most books, if you type in online, type in the name of the book, download PDF, usually you can find it for free. To be honest, I've done that a couple times on books. But like I said, I just get the Kindle version. It's probably like $4 or $5, to be honest, something like that. So I've reached the bottom of our live chat here. If you guys have any more questions, go ahead and ask them. Otherwise, I'm going to close this thing out. But yeah, I appreciate you guys sticking around. What'd you guys think of this? I might do this again sometime. I really wasn't sure what to expect. I actually got more questions than I expected to get. Yeah, well then I would just what was it say? Look it up on the internet. Just be like rational mail PDF download. Usually it's like one or two of the first things you'll see, to be honest. Or go check out his YouTube channel. It's Rollo Tomasi's his name. He's the guy, and he has a ton of like long form talks about these subjects. You type in Red Pill 101. I watch those sometimes. They're pretty good. It's Rollo Tomasi and this guy named Pat Campbell, and they talk about different issues. And there's some good ones on there that will probably resonate with you. But it sounds like, honestly, looks like we have reached okay, one more. Yeah, go ahead. If you got anything else, go ahead and put it in there right now, because otherwise I'm going to close it out after I answer this one. Mark Tyler, what do you think about video games? I've changed my tune on video games a little bit. I used to be like really anti-video games just because I felt like they were a distraction. But as long as balance is key with anything you're doing, if you're doing it over something you should be doing, that's a problem, and only you know that. But I mean, honestly, what's the difference between watching a movie or playing video games, I guess, on some level. And like, if that's how you want to spend your free time, go ahead. I've kind of backed off I used to be like really like hyper productive. I got to do all these things. I found that I actually get more results by kind of taking it easier, to be honest, like getting in that flow state. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, I guess that's everything we've got, guys. I appreciate you guys. Oh, one more. How do you maximize your productivity daily? I literally just actually said I'm less concerned with maximizing productivity. But the best things to do is get clear. Most of the time, you're going to find out that you've only got like 4 or 5 things you really need to get done. If you get clear, most people aren't that clear. And also, they feel like it's a problem if they don't have a crap ton of stuff to get done. So they're like, okay, I need to like fill my schedule with stuff. And you'll find that most of that's just kind of busy work. So the best way to actually maximize your productivity is to reduce what you're doing. Get really clear on what it is you actually need to do. Like what's a good example of this? If you're trying to do a YouTube channel or something like that, you need to put a video out. Other people will be doing all this crazy stuff. Like you go on the internet, you read a video, how to build a YouTube channel. They'll talk about like, you should go on Reddit forums and Facebook groups and put your YouTube video link in these forums and all this shit. Okay, what's the ROI on that compared to what you're actually trying to accomplish? And most of that stuff feels like busy work to make them, because somebody need to write a blog post and other people want to feel like they're doing something. Stuff like that is what I'm talking about for busy work. What do you need to do? Keyword optimized video, topic people want to discuss, things like that, and put the video out, good thumbnail, all those kinds of things. That's productivity. Productivity is not doing a lot of shit. It's about knowing what you need to get done and getting that done. And if you do that, like I said, I have time that I can pretty much do whatever I want at this point because I learned to get productive. And by productive, I mean do what needs to get done, not what feels good. What feels like I'm getting a lot done. I do what actually needs to get done. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up now. Like I said, appreciate you guys watching, and I'll have a video up tomorrow morning at some point. So I'll talk to you guys then.